everyone, today I'm here to teach you about Tay Sachs disease. So Tay Sachs disease is a rare inherited neurodegenerative disease. It is characterized by neurological problems that are caused by the death of nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. There are three types of Tay Sachs: infantile Tay Sachs, juvenile, and late onset. Infantile Tay Sachs is the most common and it comes on around 3 to 6 months of age. It creates developmental delays and loss of previously acquired skills. As it progresses, these children are going to experience involuntary muscle twitches, seizures, dysphagia, paralysis, hearing and vision loss, and intellectual disability. There's an eye abnormality called a cherry red spot, which is a known trait of this disease. And unfortunately, Tay Sachs is deadly. Children with infantile Tay Sachs typically are only going to live into their early childhood of about 5 years. The two other forms, juvenile Tay Sachs, which may come on around 5 years of age, and late onset, usually appears in adulthood. Some features of these forms include muscle weakness, ataxia, speech problems, and psychiatric issues. So Tay Sachs is an inherited disease. It is inherited in an autosomal recessive pattern, and it's caused by a variant in the HEX-A gene. So this happens when both parents have a variant in this gene and pass it on, which causes both copies of the baby's genes to not work properly. This gene provides instructions for making part of an enzyme that's located within the lysosomes, and the lysosomes help break down a toxic substance that are found in the cell membranes. So when the gene affects the ability for this process to take place, toxic levels accumulate in the neurons, and that causes Tay Sachs disease. In infantile Tay Sachs, there's a complete lack of the HEX-A gene, whereas in juvenile and late onset, there's minimal but some, so that's why it progresses slower and is less severe. Tay Sachs is very rare, but the genetic variants that cause it are found in Ashkenazi Jews, French Canadian communities of Quebec, the Old Order Amish community in Pennsylvania, and the Cajun population of Louisiana. Here is a visual for you to see how the gene mutation takes place and a progression of the symptoms associated with Tay Sachs. So some language impacts we'll see, especially the early language development, is that children with infantile Tay Sachs may have sparse and dysarthric speech as disease progresses. And remember, they're only going to live till about 5 years of age. Depending on the age of the onset, this may inhibit the child from developing both receptive and expressive language because it can't come on around 3 months. Juvenile Tay Sachs will cause a regression in previously acquired speech skills, gradually losing their ability. And we'll see this with the infantile too. They will, if they have the ability to speak. The child will have dysarthria and dysphagia, and as cognitive skills decline, so will that receptive language. And while we're not touching on adults too much, research has shown that as children, those with late onset Tay Sachs actually had a stutter, and that can be indicative of the disease. So some services that a child with Tay Sachs would receive may include speech therapy in addition to physical therapy, occupational therapy, nutrition, and respiratory therapy. Currently, none of these services are going to slow the progression of the disease. They aim at relieving some of the associated symptoms, preventing complications, and increasing the quality of life as much as possible. So as well as helping with communication, speech therapists will also help with the swallowing issues that are going to occur. Physical therapy is going to help with delaying joint stiffness and delaying the loss of function and pain from the affected muscles. Occupational therapy can involve activities and supportive devices to help with the delay of functioning. Nutritionists for feeding issues that are going to evolve, and respiratory therapy to assist with breathing issues and possible lung infections, as most of the children who die of Tay Sachs die of complications associated with pneumonia and aspirating. Some helpful resources for caregivers and professionals include the National Tay Sachs and Allied Disease Association. This would be the website that I would send somebody to first. There's also the National Organization for Rare Disorders and the Genetic Home Reference website that will provide a plethora of information about Tay Sachs disease. So I hope that you guys found this informative and were able to learn something new about this disease. Thank you.